All right, hello, hello, hello. Sorry, getting a little tiny bit late of a start there. Just a few seconds. There's like I don't know if it's like a fruit fly or a gnat in my house. It keeps flying around my head, and I'm like, "Arr!" It's driving me crazy. I was like, it's like worse than a mosquito. Like I feel like a mosquito I can hit. I can't hit this thing. It keeps swirling. I'm like, I think I got it. And then like 5 minutes later, it comes back. Anyway, that's my battle this morning. It's driving me crazy. I hope everybody's doing well. Um, all right, September 20th. Let's see what we have rolling here. So far in the last 24 hours, not tons and tons of movement. There was a setup last night. We had talked about that Aussie news last night, and we got a little bit of movement from it. The setup we have and the alert that we threw on yesterday did trigger. And I was getting actually kind of concerned about it. I posted it in the forex section last night. It was getting close, like it had triggered before news. It was well on its way. It's one of those ones that's like, oh, God, I hope this takes itself out before the news release, because it was about 2/3 of the way into profit. So, it's kind of, it's one of those ones you're like, do I want to tempt fate on this one? Do I not want to tempt fate on this one? And it was just one of those ones that it did. It ended up triggering. It ended up getting the full profit target before the news release. So it worked out perfectly. And then after that, it kind of did a little bit of a reversal with news, which, not uncommon. As we see prices move down, we know that they typically are not necessarily manipulated all the time, but, they typically run in the direction that they should have gone in anyway. So, it ran down to a profit target of where it should have been. Is what it is. With that said, not a lot of movement. The pound yen is up 62, and that's about the biggest mover. Euro pound, again, we were talking about that one potentially switching, that it was up in the higher area of the curve, and it did. It turned and it rolled back to the downside. And you're seeing there's a little bit of pound strength coming in, even versus the dollar. And then again, we know the dollar is, I'd say in the overnight, the dollar is mostly flat. If you guys are looking to read a very interesting article. We talked about it before. Where the heck is it? Where is it? I just had it up here a second ago. I love this. We're not going to prioritize free trade deals. Yeah, okay. Where is it? Minutes. Here you go. Right here. Interesting article on Forex Factor. It actually came from the CME group. Talking about how the strong U.S. dollar affects international currencies and commodities. If you guys don't have a currency background at all, it is a nice little read. I don't know that I agree with 100% of what it says, but for the most part, I think it's a pretty decent article. Again, I think it gives you a good description of kind of what, the influence that it has and kind of where the influence is going. This is, it's funny. They mentioned, it's the year of inflation. And we talked about that last year, that, this was going to be the year of currencies because of all the raising interest rates and everything. So, it's doing exactly as we expected, but there's a lot of ways to play it. And a lot of people don't understand it and what the implications are down the road. So it's a very interesting education article. I know not everybody is into, educating themselves further on products and things like that. Some people are. And again, it's okay. You don't have to do it. I mean, you don't have to do extra work if you don't want to, but if you do want to, there is a nice little article, I guess, to help educate yourself. So with that said, the data that we got in today from Canada, kind of, I would say overall, it's a little bit more negative for the currency. Some of it was predicted. It kind of moved in the right direction. There were some adjustments made. We see a lot of red, one green right there with the common. And again, they do the things where they take out the 40 most volatile. They do the ones with like the median averages. And there's a number of ways that, it is kind of, I guess, the different sliced and dice, if that makes sense. Right, because they slice and dice all data. It's just what is it? What does the finale actually look like? Right. So with the slicing and dicing, I would say overall kind of bearish. But you can see right now the dollar CAD it's up 8. It's not really anything too crazy right now. I would say predominantly what we're seeing is more of a driving force with oil than we are actually seeing it with obviously Canadian news. So, again, not a huge mover, not a big deal. It is what it is. Nothing to do about it. And again, wasn't really a major release, and it was mixed. So a lot of times traders have a hard time understanding, what do you do with it when it comes up like that? You're like, is it long or short? I got red and green. It's really neither at this point. It's not really a big deal. So, all right. So that's today's news. Okay. Tomorrow's news, we have a lot more going on. And I think tomorrow is going to be probably much more explosive. Again, being Wednesday, we already know what we have coming in, right? We have the FOMC press conference. We have the federal funds rate supposed to go up 0.75. Whenever there's that much, telegraphing, it's like, how much is the market factored in? I think it is going to be a big day. And again, we'll cover it tomorrow, but understand that overall today, people are going to be preparing, but also at the same time, I don't expect any major, huge market moves today, because think about it. I mean, yes, 0.75 is a big raise. This is the most times we've done it in a row in most people's near term kind of at this point. It's a lot, right? It's a lot of movement. So, the market has to prepare. They got to move it in the right direction. And, really, the reality is this is a big move in the last year if you think about how much the interest rates went higher. So, again, the markets typically aren't big fans of raising interest rates, but the fact that it is mostly factored in already, I think, has definitely helped us out. So that's a big one. The existing home sales for me, and I wanted to cover this because this one is at 10 tomorrow. It's kind of right when we go on, and we'll kind of see what it looks like. Like I said, I have a bunch of friends that just recently, for some reason, got into real estate. Some of them on the mortgage side, some of them on the home selling side, and they're liking it, right? They like it. And I was like, interesting choice of when to get in. Just with, this raising interest rate environment, looking at existing home sales, looking at new home sales, builder consumer sentiment is at, yearly lows. It's, multi-year lows. I think this is kind of a big one and kind of a foreshadowing. Like I said, the interest rate is kind of, at this point, pretty baked into the market. What this existing home sales, and for me, I don't think it's really the interest rates that are going to crash everything. I actually think it's going to be kind of another housing market crash is what's going to do it. I was around for the last big crash, and it was basically due to housing, and it was a lot of bad loans and that kind of stuff. Now it's not so much bad loans, but it's housing is a big investment for people. So. Yeah, these numbers continue to get worse and worse and worse and worse. And when people see their home values and when they can't sell their homes and it's really, really expensive to sell their homes, sentiment tends to change a lot. And again, I think that wound is still mostly fresh for people. So I think that's kind of like a hidden news release tomorrow. Again, being at 10 o'clock, we will cover it tomorrow, but I think there's a hidden trade in this one. So depending on what we see in the overnight, I think there could be something kind of hidden in that one. Because like I said, FOMC, I think it's factored in. I think there will be obviously retail traders are getting involved with that one, and there'll be some, ways to make some money off of them without a doubt. But I think there's going to be a little hidden trade, and again, I just want to make sure we cover it today, so I didn't forget it for tomorrow. And then obviously we have the tentative sometime monetary policy. I think the monetary policy is pretty clear with what that looks like from the BOJ. Again, they keep, they're going down with that line of everything's good, right? The ship is not sinking, right? The ship is not sinking. And all the rich people are jumping off onto the lifeboats already. So, kind of the Titanic reference there is kind of where I see the yen. And then understand that article that I pointed out, also a great article to read if you want to understand kind of what the BOJ is doing. The reason why is the BOJ, they are kind of, I don't want to say at the whim or at the mercy of the U.S. dollar, but at the same time, they kind of are. For lack of a better word, they are kind of on the hook, right? Reason why is because, again, you're not going to, no matter what intervention they do, it's not going to off-seat, change, do whatever. It's not going to make that big of a difference. As far as you're not going to derail the dollar is I guess what I'm trying to get at. It's just not one of those things. You just don't have the power to be able to do it. So, yeah, a lot in the next 24 hours. News-wise, there's nothing really out there that I'd be, super concerned about. Oh, there he is. Did I get him? No. Damn it. I thought I got him, but no. I did not get him. I'm gonna get him today. I'm gonna get him today. Like he's gonna, you know, there will be a point at some time today where I have victory, and this fruit fly, gnat, whatever you want to call him, is he will be mine. He will be mine. I will win this battle. You can tell my frustration level with him. Anyway, yeah, drives me crazy. So that's what we're dealing with. So let's dive over into the charts and let's kind of go back and start off with the VIX for today. So yesterday we talked about how the VIX started at, up 5, and it really wasn't the end of the world. He wasn't really super concerned about it, and it deteriorated down, and we had markets all going up, and kind of what we expected, and the opening prints, they all kind of moved where we thought they were going to go. They were all positive. Now the VIX is up again, and everything is down, and I would say a lot of this, I believe, is kind of in preparation for tomorrow. You can see all the markets are down over 1% today because we know what's happening now. Within 24 hours, or not quite 24 hours yet, but pretty close, everybody knows what's up, right? And it's not like the market hasn't factored it in, but the reality is it's still a raise, right? Yes, the market has factored it in. We got it. But again, what does that mean for interest rates? What does that mean for housing? I mean, there's so many different things that are, are now, evolved with it. So again, VIX is up. Indices obviously not liking it. Commodities, for the most part, are also down. And again, it's, that's what we kind of see. The dollar, again, hovering over 110. Okay, $110 is crazy, and you can see every time we not every time, but you can see every time we get up in this range of 110, we see the dollar starting to kind of pull back again. Now, I kind of like this right now. I'm kind of good with this right now. I like the fact that the dollar is so high today. And the reason why is because I'm actually looking for short dollar positions. And you may think, wait a second, are you crazy? No, not crazy. But everybody knows that they're raising interest rates tomorrow. The market has factored it in, but retail traders will see that interest rate rise and be like, yep, that's a long dollar. That's a strong dollar position, which will lead to shorts in the dollar. So with it rallying today already ahead of time, before all this, the interest rates are officially in, right? I mean, everybody knows they're going in, but before they're officially in, this is actually a good sign. So if you're not kind of looking at this is one of those things that you may want to say, and again, you're not trading the Dixie necessarily, but it'll affect all your currency pairs. It'll affect your indices. There's a ton, right? There's a ton that, is linked to the Dixie right now, because again, as we said, it's the year of the interest, or the year of inflation, I guess, is what it is. So yeah. So again, that's kind of a big deal. Let's go down and we'll dive into the Aussie dollar. So Aussie dollar. Yesterday we talked about a rock and a hard place, and you can see yesterday morning at 9:30 we're kind of bouncing off that kind of lower level there, and we had marked that off. And what did it do? It came right back up to that 23.6 level and kind of chopped around and would have kind of stopped people out and kind of went around, and it did kind of form a new level, right? I mean, there's a level right there, and it came back and retested it and then pushed back down again in the overnight. That's where it was for news last night, and and we're really pretty much about where we were yesterday at this time. Not necessarily surprised too much. Like I said, the Aussie dollar is so linked as a proxy with gold, with the US dollar. It's what do we do with it? We're seeing a little dollar strength come in, but is it anything earth-shattering? Not really. I mean, in 24 hours, this one has moved 9. So yeah, not a lot of movement, and that's okay. I mean, it's going to happen. It is what it is. It's the reality of it. So nothing you can really do about it. What do we do with it today? I guess is the big question. Right now, like I said, it seems like it's going to be a more of a strong dollar type day. We're obviously up at that 110 area, which I think is definitely an area where we need to be very cautious of selling coming in. Question is that move going to happen well before the news comes out tomorrow? Are the Europeans going to take it and manipulate it? So there's a lot there to it. Right now, I would say I probably don't have a trade setup on this one. If it continues to have dollar strength and it continues to push to the downside, I think that's a pretty decent run for us. If it comes back down and we get back into this 66.80 range, there actually may be a reversal today as we start to see some dollar weakness. Like I said, we don't really know, and I don't have a crystal ball. Nobody has a crystal ball. I don't know what the next phase of the big money is going to be, but I do know that I have an area where we have buyers and we have an area of sellers, and we had them yesterday, and literally it's been bouncing off those two zones. So, it's not a horrible zone. I mean, you're talking about 50 pips top to bottom, so it's not a bad range if you're playing both sides of this one. And there has been plays, but we're kind of sitting right in the middle right now, so there's unfortunately not a lot of opportunity that we can continue to kind of play in here. So, yeah, I don't really have much else that we can do with that one. Yeah, there's just not much else on that. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think so. So again, I'd wait for it to come down, and again, we do have a short below. If it goes 66.66, we go long. Short, and then we have 66.79 or 78 is the same level. And again, taking a bounce at 10:30 probably wouldn't necessarily be a bad trade if you can get in there and get in there and trade that one. Now, also again is the position we talked about yesterday, and I'll stretch this one out so you guys can make sure that you see it. I posted it last night, so you guys have already seen this if you're on the Discord channel. If not, obviously it's shoot us a message. We can get you a Discord link for it. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. This is one of the alerts, and unfortunately, again, the bot, because it is a Russian bot, and the world is like, nope, nobody in Russia can pay anything in dollars. He has not been able to re-up the server, which sucks because it works really, really well. So hopefully they'll get some sanctions lifted, and average people in Russia could actually make payments in dollars. Hold on, I'm getting the baby, and he is out. One sec, guys. Oh, there we go, buddy. No, you're good. All right, I just got a passed out baby handed to me, so let's see how this works. Anyway, this is the level we talked about. We talked about it being a 23.6 level. We had a confirmation off of it before, but we mentioned the zone was a little bit higher. It wasn't a regular 23.6 that we wanted. And again, we're using the 23.6 as a confirmation. You can see it triggered right here. And had you taken the 23.6, depending on the stop loss that you put on there, you may have gotten stopped out. It did not get stopped out, right? It did not hit the top of our zone here and then ended up coming all the way down. And actually last night, I guess I posted the 15-minute chart. You can see that it did go beyond where our target was. This is actually a little bit above a 1 to 3. Right? So the target hit, and then the news came in right here. So I was it was sitting here, and I was looking at this, and I'm like, oh, God, just please get to the full profit target before the news comes out. And it did. So if you were here yesterday, we talked about this being a decent level. We put the dots on. You can see that the alert actually triggered, unfortunately, and actually I guess it's right here, right? Yeah, right there. It hit it, 6 p.m. last night, 7 p.m. last night. You can see that it went off and triggered. Nice little run, and it was a decent runner. I mean, it was about 35 pips of the downside. Not too shabby when you're trading kind of at the end of the day / in the overnight, right? Grabbing 30 pips in a day is awesome. 30 pips a day is as good as eating an apple, right? The apple a day keeps the doctor away. Make 30 pips every single day of your life, and yeah, you're doing quite well. Same idea, and then it ended up coming back up again, and you can see that, again, the 23 really itself didn't do much, but again, kind of chopped through and did fine. Right, it did okay. So what do we do with it now? I would say right now this one looks to me more like a short, and it's kind of similar to what we're seeing in the Aussie yen. I'm sorry, in the Aussie dollar. There's a little bit in it, but not much more. If anything, I would say probably a short somewhere in this level here. We've bounced off of it multiple times at this point. How much more can we do with it? I don't know. And there's a little level below. So, I think right now, do I want to take that? I really just don't love that area because of this, right? This right here is kind of like, it's all right. It's all right. But I will say that this could be something for tomorrow with the BOJ talking. It's not my favorite. It's not my favorite right now. I liked it yesterday. Again, that's why I put the alert on it. Right now, if anything, if you're looking for a short, I'd say below 96 is probably a decent short, and we'll see it run back into this 95, 60, or 70 range. Probably flirting with the line right here, right? Yeah, it's probably it. I mean, right now it's hard to say, hey, listen, is it trending? No, it's not trending, right? We had the nice little trade from yesterday, but yesterday morning we were sitting here. Actually, right here. There's your 10 o'clock. There's your 10:15. So we're barely different from it as of yesterday. So again, not a lot of movement, and you can see we're down 0.18 milli. Stop. A Great Dane trying to scratch the carpet to make sure there's no snakes. Just it's one of those days. So anyway, yeah, look for a break. And again, if you want to take this trade, look for the confirmation. Again, I've drawn it a number of times, but again, the down. Whoops. The down, the up, and the down back down again, right, is what you're looking for in that confirmation. So again, will it absolutely trigger? Don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I mean, eventually it will break that zone, and we'll see what does it. If it's a catalyst or just natural grinding, either one works. And I think, again, I think it'll be probably more of a yen play than it will be anything else. But you never know. You know, maybe we do get some Aussie movement in it. Now, the euro dollar. Euro dollar is, it's funny. We pushed up this far, and here, I'll go back up to the 30-minute. Here's the rock in the hard place that we talked about yesterday. And again, it's kind of the same thing. We went up last night, and then again, European session started right here. We kind of pushed up, and then 5:30, it kind of rolled back down again. It did not reverse, but again, I'll just extend these across, and you can see there's your rock in the hard place. Kind of the same thing. It's about 55 pips between the two sides. Nothing, I mean, you know, are we in a long area? Yeah, probably a little bit more, you know, bullish right now. And seeing where the dollar index is, and this is why I'm talking about the dollar index being extra high, it tends to roll. Well, guess what? Euro dollar right there, we're pushing down and we're in an area where there's buyers. Is it an amazing setup? Like, this is the greatest thing ever, right? You're like, this is awesome. No, no, let's not candy coat that one. It is not the greatest thing ever, right? Oops. Sorry. Yeah, it is not the best of the best. It's all right. You know, again, if you're looking for trades this morning, there's a decent one in this one. Now the dog's barking. I'd like to see what happens at 10 o'clock and see kind of where we move with it. But again, rocking a hard place. We're still bouncing back and forth. Yesterday morning, we're sitting right here. We just kind of come off. Didn't necessarily get the confirmation entry for it. Drove up. And again, when that Aussie news came out, all we did was roll back to the downside. So not much movement, but again, the same two lines we drew yesterday have supported us on both sides. Now, the euro pound, we also talked about being high. Now, we did have a Harry Potter trade in here that we talked about. It is not triggered. It popped in, it went down and came up in the one candle. It has not given us any space in there to be able to set that trade up. And I drew it. I said, I kind of want to see where the basing is occurring. We tagged it there. You can see we tagged it over here. We tagged it here. Really, we haven't quite seen the base. We've really just seen another hit. So we've had the base. We've hit it. We broke through it and came below it, and now that may be where the base is forming. Now, we know we have a 50% retracement right there. We know we have a 61 right there. We haven't really gotten the entry the way that we like it. So, yeah. Right now, let's see. What do we do? Let's see. Will we get any assistance on this one? Probably a little bit, yeah. Because that pull-up is right in here. Well, I was looking to see kind of where this was. Because there's a confirmation right there. It's an okay level. 87.67. Again, with it driving up since the U.S. session hasn't really started, it is a confirmed level. Fibs, they don't really help us. I mean, I guess a little bit, but it's not, I don't know. It's all right. We're going to say it's all right is the best I'm going to give you. It's okay. And the reason why is, yes, it is confirmed level. You're not going to get any help from the fib traders. It is a little bit past the 61.8, so maybe they step in a little bit. And again, I don't really put much credence in the 78.6. It is bracketed by that side, so yeah, there could be a potential reversal. It'd be better if this was nighttime right now, we were rolling into the European session. I think I would like it more. Right now, it's just kind of there. So, take it for what it's worth. Again, if we head straight up, if there's no, again, we're going to close this candle down in 1 minute. If it continues to drive higher, in solid green, yeah, there's a potential reversal in that one, and that would look something along these lines. And 1 and 3 is right there, which should be okay. Let's pull this guy off. And again, this has not given us a base that we're looking for yet. Haven't gotten the base. We've had 3 touches, but not the true base. All right. So look something like that, and that wouldn't be bad. It would push down, and again, if you do get short that one, profit target needs to be right there. Okay, profit needs to be right there. All right, euro yen. So euro yen, since the U.S. session has come in, has been pretty big. Now this one is one of those ones. This is a fib trade, right? There's absolutely zero selling back here. We actually had to level up a little bit higher that we liked. That one was pretty decent. This one literally came up. You're like, why the heck at 3 o'clock did it trade? Well, again, forex, very technical traded market. European traders came in online right at 3 o'clock and saw this and was like, wow. And again, you could have drawn something off this one and said, well, wait a second. There's where we draw it. There's where we came down. It pushed back up again. And then at 5:30, right? 5:30 was the takeoff point. And again, yeah, there was an opening print, push down, and then retest, and it went. So there was a small trade in this one. I was not up at 5:30 this morning, thankfully. So I did not take this trade. But you could have, right? You could have. Would I take it again? I think you got to be a bit cautious with this one, taking it again. It has pushed in twice. But again, understand that there will be people that didn't take it the first time that do want to get on that 50% retracement. I think if we can pop up the 144, that's a little bit better. And again, that will take advantage of the 78 or the 61.8 traders. Okay. At my kid's school, I'll be quiet here. Ernest is going to be quiet. Yeah, no. Oh, I'm trying to like move a little bit. I got his head like crank. He's passed out, but I got his head like cranked sideways. Like if I slept like this, I'd have to go to the chiropractor tomorrow. Thank God he's like got like that rubber skeleton. So yeah, those are the 2 levels. And here I'll mark it off just so you guys can, if you're like, wait, where is it at? Where's it at? 143.91. Okay, it's where the other area of sellers is coming in. Pound dollar. So pound dollar. We talked about this 23.6 getting in. You can see this is a pretty ugly 23.6. We pushed it deep, pushed it again. There was number 3. We pushed down, and then it kind of faltered. And whoops, that's not the one I wanted to get rid of. I wanted to get rid of this and move this out of the way so you can see it. And you can see base chopped in, came down, hit it again, came back up, based in there again, came down again, chopped over it again, and then finally pushed out. So obviously sellers in there, not the greatest level. They did come up and actually get some help from this original group here, which again, also very, very sloppy, not really the best level. With the pushing back down, I'd kind of like to see, again, this one is also kind of in the same scenario. The bottom of this is just so ugly. I mean, there's obviously a level down here. If we could push down, could we get a reversal from there? Sure, we could, maybe, potentially. It's all right. I just don't really love the base. I think the bottom of this one is pretty ugly. Again, 3 wicks down in there. Yeah, there's buyers there. They've held it, but not great. And then we hit it again and based again, and we hit it again, which, again, it's nice that it didn't go lower, showing us there's still buyers there, but it's all right. It's okay, right? So, I don't know. Oh, hold on, I gotta move the kid. I can't feel my left arm. All right. So at this point, again, I think we blocked this off. This is kind of like the rock and a hard place. We've drawn on a couple other things. Not necessarily loving the bottom here to take a long off of it. And the top side, again, obviously, it hasn't breached that one very far. So, that's what we're looking at. Hold on one sec, guys. All right, sorry. There we go. All right, so that's what we got going on. Pound yen. So pound yen. Pound yen's moved a little bit, 36 pips in 24 hours. So it is the biggest mover right now in the last 24 hours, but it's not, it's not making, tons of friends. We talked about a level, and you can see we kind of bounced back and forth between it and hit it multiple times, and we're literally pulling back in it again. This one did go higher, and I thought we had this one drawn, but it was there, right? We did tag that in the overnight. I don't know. I thought we had that drawn. I don't know. Anyway, there's a confirmation off of it. Nice push to the downside. So there is a trade here right now. There we go. And 1 of 3 is right there. It's almost done. I thought we had drawn that one. I really thought we did. I don't know why it wasn't on here, but maybe I accidentally deleted that one. Not sure. Anyway, this one is almost out. It's 2/3 of the way there. It's a little bit too late to get into it right now. Not much else you can do or say about it, right? Again, you should be trailing your stop if you are short this one. Make sure you're trailing your stop. There's no point in, right now we are currently at a 1 to 2.3 or 1 to 2.3. So basically what that's saying is if our overall target is here at a 1 to 3, you are risking 0.8, or you're risking 2.3 to make 0.8. Not necessarily the best, right? So make sure you're trailing it down. Lock in at least a 2 to 1 at this point. So worst case scenario, you make 2 off your 1 risk, which gives you about 40 something pips on that one. So not too shabby. What I'd like to do is I'd like to see this one come down. There is a level down here. Again, I'm going to leave it in yellow. I'd really like to see what happens when we hit it. I think tomorrow, I do think we have some UK news in the morning. Yeah. Industrial order expectations, again, not expected to be great. Super, super negative number. Could actually turn out pretty decent if this number is actually less than this. Okay, so we may actually get the strength that we need. As well as, again, pound yen, proxy, yen. We're going to get all those things in there. We'll see. Yeah. Oh, hold on one sec. I just got a message I have to send back. All right. All right. Dollar CAD. So dollar CAD, yesterday we were looking for a pullback, and we mentioned that the 23.6 would probably be the area where it came in. We left the area yellow, and we kind of wanted to see, and that's why I put it over here and not right on the level. We wanted to kind of see where the bottom was going to form, because here is the original level. Here's a hit, here's a hit, here's a hit, right? And as a base pretty deep in, so we're kind of like, it's probably going to fail. We need some type of a confirmation move. And we did. We got the confirmation move. The confirmation move was actually here. Okay. And what do I mean by confirmation move? You're looking for a bottom and then a failure to go any lower on that bottom. There's actually 2 entries on it. There's one here, as well as there's one obviously right here. Okay. So this trade is out, over and done, right? There is your bottom. I love this. It marks it there. There you go. You can see it there. And actually, that's not where the trade triggered. The trade actually triggered, like the way that it draws it sometimes is weird, right? But that's where the base is drawn off of. There's your bottom. There's your fail to go lower. There's your touch, and there's your takeoff. So, again, it went a little bit past the 23.6. Most likely stopped out a bunch of people, right? It's over and done with, and we're back up exactly where we were yesterday. We're literally right at the same point. Now, the interesting thing about this one, and I think what matters the most, and again, we saw the Canadian numbers. They weren't great. Oil's down pretty big. Okay, it's down 2.4%. Again, giving us that CAD weakness. So we have the CAD weakness, we have the dollar strength. If oil starts to roll over in this U.S. session, or we get some type of method or some type of news headline that oil starts to kind of re-strengthen itself, that is a factor to lead this down. As well as with the Dixie being all the way up here, you can see that it's already starting to roll. That could also be another reason why it turns and rolls. Now, unfortunately, there's no way for us to really draw an area of supply up top. It was a really fast up and a fast right back down again. And there's a level from way back up there, but again, these are a lot of higher time frame levels over here. This is also a higher time frame level. I think for the dollar CAD, we're looking for a top to be put in. Hold on, I just got asked. Let's see. One sec, guys. Somebody's trying to order something for my group, and I have to give him an exact number. One sec. 24 and 26, that's good. This guy's going to be so mad at me. All right. Sorry. He's like, yeah. He's like, the rep probably said, you guys know I'm coaching the 2 different boys lacrosse teams, a 28 group and a 29 group, and they're getting helmets. They were supposed to be here a week ago, and a lot of my parents are like, this kid, they all know that it was supposed to be here a week ago. So needless to say, I'm getting a million emails like, when are the helmets getting here? And all the kids know the helmets are getting here. So all the kids are messaging me and asking when the helmets are getting here because they're late. I have nothing to do with the order, but of course, because I'm the coach, I'm getting all the questions. So between the two teams, I have 50 kids. And they're like, oh, we got a bunch of helmets. We're probably short. I'm like, well, I got 50 kids and 50 parents bugging the heck out of me. Where are the helmets? They were supposed to be here last week. And everybody talked about how we would have them last weekend. So you can imagine the disappointment in the kids. So yeah, it's like that. So I'm going to get them that. Anyway, I think we need to find a top in here. And again, if we were closing right now, like if it was 9 minutes ago and we were closing like that, that could be a potential top area for us. I want to see where the top is. I like the burst on this one. I think this one turns and rolls back to the downside. I don't know where it's coming in. I don't know where the top, it's not formed yet, but the top would be somewhere in this range here where it's like 11, I don't know, 13, 14 pips, something like that. And then you're looking for something along those lines, right? We're looking for profit to be taking before, I don't know, probably in this area. Again, this 133 is going to be a psychological level. It's not as big as parity, but it will be a pretty decent level. Again, this is a play off the Dixie as well as, weakened oil, as well as being high on the curve again with the dollar CAD and the CAD's numbers being crappy. It's set up for a reversal, but it's not here yet. But this is one that is, again, to be determined. It will be here coming soon, okay? And I think it turns and rolls back all the way down. And wouldn't actually be surprised tomorrow if we're back down at this 133-ish mark, again, in preparation for the news. Because, again, remember, if the interest rates are rising, this will drive down a lot of times for the news to come out and spike, or vice versa. Sometimes if we see it up, then it's a short for the interest rate. If we see it run down, it's a long for the interest rate, okay? Now, dollar Swiss. Yeah. So, here, I'll put this right on. There's the level. You can see this one missed by a total of 1.6. 1.6. So, yeah. 1.6. But, again, this trade did not, unfortunately, trigger. It's literally about the crank to profit target. And you're seeing the dollar weakness roll in here as well, just like we've talked about. Yeah. So, this formation right here, this is that candle that I was talking about. If we can get this shape candle over here, which was kind of forming right now, that's what we're looking for an entry. Okay, so it worked out well that way that we are looking for this, but right here. And again, seeing the dollar index high, look at the dollar Swiss heading down. The dollar CAD is kind of holding firm, so if it eventually if it starts to go as well, it should also tumble back to the downside. So they're all kind of going in lockstep on this. All right, dollar yen. Now dollar yen, talk about some chop. We ended up getting a trigger on this one right around 5:30 this morning. It pulled all the way down, and about 8 o'clock this morning, it popped up again, and it's like, oh, really? For this one, I would say, let's see, did it go to 1-to-1? Yeah, it made it to 1 to 1.32. So this is one of those ones that if you had set and forget this one, put the trade on and walked away from it, you got stopped out. Does it happen? Absolutely. Anybody that tells you never get stopped out is full of crap, okay? Banks and institutions get stopped out a lot. The fact is, but the thing is, on their stop outs, they lose such a little tiny amount. Sometimes they're losing money on purpose to trap the markets. Yes, they do that. They will purposely lose just to kind of position themselves in a bigger win. Happens all the time. How do I know? I have friends that are market makers. The reality is on this one, you got to be very, very cautious when the U.S. changing, when there's a change of sessions, particularly with the U.S., you got to be cautious. If you were up 1-to-1 on this one, you could have set your stop loss to break even and just said, all right, I'm good. I'm going to let it roll. Whatever happens at this point happens. It was a 5:30 reversal in the European session. It made it down and they popped it up. So at this point, you're kind of at that same entry again. I would say I kind of like the same thing on this one as well. Maybe seeing a little bit yen strength come back in again, the dollar reversing back over. The 1-to-3 is a little bit deep. And again, for the dollar yen, the risk level on this one is 17 pips. A little bit high for me on this pair. I just think that you don't typically need to take as much on that one. But we also don't necessarily have a great topping pattern for it. So what I would say on this one is if you wanted to kind of lower your risk on it, there was the original zone. There was your hit. What you could have done is you could have actually shortened this one, and all it would have done is actually probably made you lose a little bit less, right? If you said, well, wait a second, there's the more near term. When this closes low, I'm in, right? My 1-to-3 target would have been there. Now it's 12 pips worth of risk. And to just get stopped out, yeah, it's the same. Either way, you would have got stopped out, unless you would obviously trailed your stop after 1-to-1. So it's whatever. It's whatever. Not really concerned about it. They're going to happen, right? There's plenty of other trades out there that were great. Now, crypto is still taking it on the chops. Again, a little bit of retracement yesterday, but you're seeing they're pretty much red across the board. Ethereum also today is actually considered red because it did close higher. It is up a little bit from kind of where we were yesterday. Doji as well. I mean, Doji is now below that 6. That 6 is a big mark, at least for me. I mean, again, Doji is one of those ones that. Oh, are you going to wake up now? What? What? Here, talk to your friends. Here, talk to your friends. Here, talk to your friends. Your friends are sleeping. You should go back to sleep too. Um, Again, I'm not doing anything actively with these. Dogecoin is one of those ones that doesn't have a cap on how much you can mine and produce. So it's kind of it's a weird one that eventually will be worth absolutely zero. No matter what people think it's worth, you can just mine it forever. And when you have something that has an unlimited supply, yeah, it eventually can go to zero because it was made again. It's a joke coin. It's actually not anything legitimate. Now bonds are way down, and again, bonds are all these ones that will help. Bonds are going to be hard with this one because, again, with the interest rate rising, they have an inverse relationship. Interest rates go up, bonds go down. And this is not. Oh God, what did you do, buddy? Here, take it. This is not one of those things that, again, the market's. Bonds are not something that are actively as traded as much. Are you able to trade them? Yeah, but they're typically bonds are reserved for big money companies, things like that. So again, this one is already starting to see some pre-movement in there, and this is in preparation because in 24 hours we are raising interest rates, and there's nothing that we can say differently about it. So, is there a trade in something like TLT with traditional options? Yeah, but I would say it's a little bit risky. Again, this is you can see the trajectory of this one. It's been pretty much straight down. As this has been the year of raising of raising interest rates. We know kind of what's happening, and that's again they're going crazy. It goes down, 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 down. It is what it is. Oh, stop! All right, I think that's somewhat back again. He like slams the keyboard and everything moves. Yeah, it still doesn't look right. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, he moved it. I can tell he moved it already. Great. More fun. I'm not exactly sure what he did too. Don't know. Come on, go on the floor. Here. Oh, I'm gonna have to try to figure out how to fix that one because I can actually see the line and I don't know how to move that line. Kids. Lovely. All right. So, with that said, hold on. Let me move this over here. Yeah, I'm going to send them to you, Debbie, because he's in everything. And now, like I said, I can tell that he's moved it because, I have no idea. You guys can't see it on your screen, but it's showing me where the capture is actually occurring. So I have this big triangle now across, or not triangle. I guess it is called a rectangle, right? I have a big rectangle across my screen now, so it's harder for me to see, kind of what's happening here. I'm not exactly sure what he did. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to try to figure it out. But yeah, lovely. All right, so let's go into the commodities. All right, so commodities. Yesterday, we were sitting right here, right? We had taken a nice little bounce, and we talked about 85.80. If you were an oil trader, you are welcome. We came back up. We grabbed the 50% even after 2 hits. We lowered the refining on it. This one is obviously out at this point. There's nothing you can trade with it now. It's already moved. Actually, now it's at a 1. God, it was at a 1.8. We were originally shooting for 1.3, which is right there, which was the bottom of this level in the break. Overall, potentially this is kind of where that's kind of where you're looking for your overall profit target. But again, had your attended yesterday, you were looking to trade oil. It was an easy level. We picked out 85.80 was it. I think the Europeans started it actually. Yeah, the Europeans started it. Well, I guess that's not true. Europeans shot it up into that level, and then this was a 530 reversal. 530 is right there. So you can see that's what kind of triggered it down. And then again, we got into the U.S. market at 9 o'clock, session change, and boom, off to the races to the downside. So, yeah, pretty decent. God, I wish I had known what he did. I have no idea what he did. Just got to tell you, kind of driving me a little crazy. I got this big triangle. It's like, I just really have no idea. Don't know. Anyway, so had you been here yesterday, you got that trade. Decent trade. Right now, we're in the middle of the range, so there's not much we can do with it right now. If we can push down, I think the 81.68 was probably a decent level to turn around and grab. The 85.80, be cautious. It's tagged it 3 times now, 4 times now. And again, we had not hit the 50 yet, so we've already hit through and then retested the 50. So just be cautious with it. But pretty nice, easy setup on that one. And again, using a confirmed level of supply, which is also coincides with the new 50% retracement. So you got to like it. Natural gas. So look at this. Natural gas, we talked about the 23.6, a gap in there, and you can see it came up. Here's another example of kind of setting a new a new top on it. There was your new top. There was your confirmation. It's been super, super slow coming out of it, so we'll pull it off there now. I don't even know. Let's see. Is it done at this point? Yeah, it's out. No, it's not. It's not out yet. There's where the 1 to 3 is. But again, just another example of an area where we're looking for shorts to come in. It gave us a new level to use for defining our risk, and then came back up and grabbed it, and it's just been a slow descent. Again, very, very slow. I mean, God, we hit this level yesterday at 3 o'clock, and the trade is still on. So it is just continuing to go, 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 go. Natural gas, again, with the inventory report tomorrow, I don't know. Kind of just one of those things, right? Watch for it to come. So it'll complete. I like the 748. I think that's a level that is pretty good. Kip is playing behind the door. I think Melissa finishes at 10:30. I'm waiting for her to open the door. This kid is crazy. Kid is crazy. All right, so wait for that one. Gold. All right, so gold. Gold, we were sitting right here yesterday. Here's the 10 o'clock frame yesterday. So we're pretty much in the exact same spot. Talked about the 23. Again, we talked about a little bit of a piece right here. Whoops, right there. And we hit it. It pushed it kind of deep, but you can see we came off and we grabbed it yet again and pushed back down again. This is kind of that same channel, and I thought, I swear this is the one that I drew the channel on yesterday. I don't know, maybe I don't know. I felt like I did this yesterday, right? I know I did it on one of them. But anyway, something along those lines. It's still kind of the same thing today. I think the 1656, again, look for a potential bounce off that level. It did form a new bottom and then took off after it. There will be buyers stepping in here. Oh, okay. Oh, he messages me back and he's like, I think they're just trying to get 1 or 2 of the helmets, the last helmets. He's like, I have car details for the team. How many do you have on each team? And I'm like, car details? What are you talking about? Car details? And he means car decals. And I'm like, what? I'm like, we're talking about helmets. Why do I need car car decals? So this is my morning, guys. Just so you guys know. If you ever wondered about youth sports and commissioning, this is it. All right, so look for potential bounce. Gold's going to be in play tomorrow. Gold is one of those things. I want to see what it does in the European session tomorrow. Ideally, overall, yes, we are thinking that this is going to be weakness. But the FOMC meeting notes and the questions that they have tomorrow at 2:30 is going to be really the big thing. What the next one looks like. If there's any type of hawkish comments whatsoever, then yes, I think there probably is something coming beyond what we're getting. It's just, I don't know that we'll get another 0.75 after this one. And if they telegraph that one, I think gold starts to move back to the top side. It's going to depend on what they say. Now, the Europeans will probably foreshadow what they're going to say. Depending if it goes up and down, that's going to give us the clue. Again, FOMC's it's tomorrow too, so we're going to be able to react to that from now till then. So, look for potential bounces off 1656. Again, I think 1680 on the top side is going to have problems. Overall, again, I'd like to believe that gold will continue to push lower, but I feel like the 16 to 15, somewhere in there, I feel like is going to be the bottom. I don't think it'll ever go much, much lower than that one. I don't think we can crush inflation enough. Now, silver. Silver also kind of smack in the middle. You can see that this one pulled back up. It didn't make the 78.6. It kind of put a new top in. It made it pretty close. right? And then just continue to roll. Actually, in its most recent ascent from top to bottom, you can see we're really kind of flirting around with the 50 and 61.8. It did go down, and I'll remove this real quick just so you can see it. This is the last area where we had buyers kind of stepping in, like kind of flirting around with this level right here. You can see there's a wick over wick there, and that's kind of what we just ran into. Overall, it's funny. I am more bearish on gold. I'm actually more bullish on silver. And the reason why is silver is also kind of linked with industry, with China being locked down right now in specific cities, and kind of the threat that lockdown is there. I feel like silver has the ability to burst off of that news. Okay, silver technically moves, 1.5, 2 times what gold does. That's the average. You can see right now it's down 1.91 and versus gold, which is down 0.74. So a little bit more double. I feel like the setup for this one is really if there's good news or industry starts looking good and recessions aren't going to be as bad and we're going to need metals. I feel like that is one of these fundamental reasons. And again, if there's any type of mention of, oh, hey, listen, we're going to back off interest rates now and the world hasn't ended, I feel like that's a pop. And the fact that it has, twice as much juice as gold, I feel like there's a buying opportunity in silver. So, get those. All right, so let's go over and you can see in stocks kind of all over the place. Dollar, you can see, is doing its thing. We're kind of stabilizing in the VIX. Let's look at the ES. Yeah, he's got this thing all messed up. Oh, you know what he did? He's in full screen mode. That's what he did, because I can't switch tabs up here anymore. Not exactly sure how I did that by slamming the keys. But you'll notice there are no keys. I cannot change tabs. That's why. Oh, you know what? Was that it? Where did that come from? Maybe that's it. I'll have to play with that afterwards. I bet you that's it. All right, I just don't want to kill the whole thing. All right, so ES, let's see where we're at here. Let's see, 930 is was right here. No, not in range, not in a zone. You can see in the overnight there was some zones higher and lower, but the 930 window was right here. I guess there could have been a case made for this, right? You could have said, hey, listen, let's see, 930 was right here. We were close to that zone. You could have said that, but the problem is that I have with this one is if you would have taken a long position, all right, and yeah, that would have been a long. We only had a room to go 1-to-1 before we ran into the sellers here, right? So, unfortunately, from where the candle started, yes, it was a zone, but we knew we had sellers sitting right there. It doesn't necessarily qualify for me. Because remember, one of the things about making good trades is you need to set the trade up. You need to have a defined level of risk, but you also need to have a clear path to your target. You just can't arbitrarily throw out a percentage or a target and say, yep, I'm going 1-to-3. If you don't look to see what you're dealing with, where potential profit taking is going to occur, you're really missing a huge piece of the puzzle. And unfortunately, this would not have qualified, so it would not have been an entry. But with that said, we do have a level down here just a little bit lower. Maybe we have a potential reversal coming in at 38.53. Let's see. Fib-wise, it's kind of a new high. Let's see, what do we got here? Yeah, I mean, right now, if this is truly the bottom of the morning, because again, it is 10:30, reverse back up again, I would say watch out for a level sitting right here. Look at the basing and look at the way that it shot out, and it just happens to be bracketed by the 50 and 61.8. So if we do reverse back up again, maybe we have some end of the day selling coming in. And again, this is basically at what, 3,900? Yeah. 3,900, and here we'll even change that to red and say, hey, listen, we get the 3,900. That's a 50% retracement if this is the bottom. I mean, if it goes lower, obviously that changes the whole idea of the fib aspect of it. But again, impulse correction, impulse slow correction, but it was in the middle of the morning. Impulse down, and it happens to be a 50. So you got a couple things all lining up together. So yeah, watch that. Yeah. So 38.53 would be where, again, if we for some reason push down now, I would say that this is a late afternoon rally up. And if we get to 39, look for a drop. NQ. Ooh, God, NQ's got a lot of wicks. Let's see. 930 is opening here. 930, it's kind of the same thing. If you look and draw this, you could say, hey, listen, right there, there's an area. There's a pushback. You're right. There is. Absolutely. But it's already tagged off of it. So it is kind of confirmed. And then again, the 9 was here and we drove down. The 930 was in the zone. But the problem is these guys are sitting right there. So we didn't even have a 1-to-1 in this one. There was no clear path on the reversal. Not really a setup, right? Again, did it qualify step one? Is it in a zone? Did it move into that zone from 9 to 9.15? Yeah, it did. But did it have a clear path to its target without running into an opposing level? The answer is no, so it didn't quite qualify. So yesterday was 4 for 4. Today is 0 for 2 so far as entries go. Kind of the same thinking too. Again, if we take the kind of yesterday's bottom to the top, you can see it was also a 61.8, which is decent, but again, it's that profit taking right there that's going to be the problem. Let's run that from the other direction and kind of just do the overnight down and see what we got. Yeah, kind of the same thing. If this one has a reversal, look at that. Also an impulse, a corrective move, and then actually this one you could say has actually been tested here. And again, at the time that wasn't a 50, obviously, but you can see it is a confirmed test. So I would say that this is probably a decent short as well. And again, it's a 50% retracement from high to low. If this goes up from here, basically if this one looks like this, then look for it to, kind of roll back down again. And that's right at 11,987.75. What are you doing now? What are you doing? What are you doing? What's you doing? Bah. What you doing? Pulling on my post-it notes up. All right. So again, should be pretty easy on that one. And again, does not qualify for opening print setup today. This one looks to be the same thing as well. Yeah, I mean, it's, this was I think we talked about this yesterday too. Actually, I guess it came in right afterwards. There's your zone. It's tested. It's pushed pretty deep. It's not the best thing in the world. I actually be looking for more of a short on it. 930 started right here into the zone. And I would say kind of no, we're not going to knock the coffee all over the place. Here's kind of the same look, right? Do we have even a 1-to-1 in here? Right? Right there. Do we even have a 1-to-1 before we hit that zone? The answer is no. It's a 0.8. So unfortunately, it just doesn't, not looking like it's a thing. So 0 for 3. And again, there's just so much momentum to the downside. And again, obviously raising interest rates, people are preparing for that. So yeah, not a good one. This one I would say, again, here's your kind of base bottom. Again, this is not be a red. And again, it's probably, I'll do the same thing. Probably fibs at 50. Yeah, you can see this one's actually 61.8 up top. Right? This is probably a bit of a hiccup too. So I'll just turn it yellow. Okay. So that doesn't qualify. I don't need this. And actually, I wouldn't be surprised if it pulls back on that one either. Right? If this pulls back, if I shrink this down and just do the bottom of this one, now that it's a violated level, if it comes back up, that violated level also happens to be the 23.6. So, if we can push up to there. Here, you want this? You want this? All right. Russell, let's see. Could Russell help us out? No, it doesn't. It looks like Russell is not going to help us out either. Yeah, so kind of the same thing again. Very, very choppy, and happens to be 1800. Again, if you're going to box this one off, you're going to look at it there. Yeah, it opened right before that level, and it's got a zone sitting right above it, so it does not qualify. Now, there was a racetrack here. We didn't, unfortunately, get the pullback into that zone. It would have been nice if we did. That would have been a great little short dropping through, and we actually had that marked off here before the 1783. It's on its way. It looks like it's going to probably run down there and hit it today. Looks like Russell is the weakest, as it should be. Again, whenever you raise interest rate, it is much, much harder on small business than it is big business. I would say that this one probably does come down, and if you guys are short, look to take your profit. No, we're not going to bang the keyboard again. 1784, right? 1784. Okay. So not the best morning for opening print setups. And again, not every morning is, but again, what's more important with trading is not taking bad trades. Yesterday, you were 4 for 4, right? You were 4 for 4 in your trades, and all 4 of them went to full profit target. Even if you just do the 1 to 3, right? That's plus 12. Today, you didn't get any entries. None of them went in, but you know what? You didn't make any bad trades. You didn't lose any money on it. In the last 2 days this week already, you're up plus 12. So again, that 12 number is whatever position size that you're doing. Add a 0, 2 zeros, 3 zeros, 5 zeros, whatever you want to do. It's just, using a 1 to 3 risk to reward ratio and everything. What? Again, not too bad. 2 days in, being up plus 12 already to start off the week. So again, strategies are meant for specific time frames. There's nothing that's universal for everything. Take it for what it's worth. All right. This is the problem. I'm going to have to hit that button. There we go. It did bring it back. So he just smashed it. All right, let's do the winner. So yesterday it was Will. And Will is not here today. Will, where the heck you at, Will? I know Will's got to be here. Will won yesterday. Yesterday, Sean was trying to enter tickets and it wouldn't take it. We all saw it, right? Today, Sean, for some reason, it took it. And you did the same thing, right? Yeah, you did the same exclamation ticket. I don't know. Sean, I really have no idea why that didn't work yesterday. Like I said, I would file a formal protest if I were you. You know, whoever's the boss, you should file a formal protest with the boss. It's not me. It's not me. I have nothing to do with it. But anyway, Melissa just came and grabbed Kip. So with no Will, there can be no repeat winner. So it looks like everybody is fresh. Everybody's going in for 50 pip chips for today. All right. What is that? So I think yesterday is because I announced my monthly subscription. Oh, it shouldn't have mattered. You still put the. Remember, yeah, you could announce it with the ticket message. Oh, maybe. It's a good point. Maybe. That's the best I got, Will. Sean, I'm going with that. That works. I'll go with that. That's why it didn't work. It's on you. It's not on me. So, anyway, let's close it down. All right. So, the winner of today's drawing is Neuro. What's up, Neuro? Neuro, it's been like a week. You haven't won in a week. So, let's go ahead and mark that as complete. All right. Let's give Neuro his stuff in there. Where is Neuro? Where is Neuro? Oh, and let's put our 25 pip chips in. Oh, sorry, not 25. All right, so, yeah. Oops, yeah. So that's it for today. We'll be back on tomorrow. Yeah, nice. Even 25%. Yeah. And guys, I'm still trying my best. I'm almost satisfied. I did have a sound issue that I had to go back and change some things around, unfortunately. I try to review the courses as much as I can just to figure out if I need to speed things up, slow it down. There's a part that I wasn't happy with, and I was like, I could just release it anyway, but then I wasn't happy with it, so I had to go back and do it. One of the parts again, so I apologize that it's not up there yet. I'm getting it out there. The other thing, too, is, again, we do have a use for the pip chips. There is a use for the pip chips, and again, we've had the store up there for a while that there is a store associated that you can spend the pip chips on. One of them is mentoring. So remember, you guys can use these for mentoring. But for this class release, I'm also going to allow you guys to be able to use pip chips to receive like percentages off. Okay. Which, again, it gives a use for the pip chips. We've been accumulating them. We have fun with them. The contest is great, but you'll be able to use your pip chips to get percentages off the course. All right. So just as a way so you guys can use them. So there is a benefit for you guys attending. So yeah, I just thought that would be, you guys are definitely been around for a long time. You've been loyal. You have those pip chips. You watch in, you log in, you get them, you accumulate them, you bet them, you challenge them, you do all that stuff with them. That I had to come up with more because you guys already have the current rewards that are out there. All right. So with that said, I'll be back on tomorrow morning. Again, markets are not blazing in any direction right now. Dollar CAD is the biggest mover. Hopefully tomorrow we get some more movement. Look for some of these reversals. Absolutely, without a doubt, though, tomorrow morning before you log in, look at the European session. The European session is going to be kind of a big telltale sign about what FOMC looks like. All right. So with that said, I'm out of here. Thank you guys for joining me today, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Take care.